Okay, looks like we're ready to remove this. We're going to remove this chip from the board. This solder sucker, this gun was about $249, but it's worth it for what I did. It's just a quick. You heat up the solder, pull the trigger, and instantly it sucks the solder off of the board. I used to use a little plunger solder sucker, and it would take me about 20 minutes to do one side, and by the time I was done, my hand hurt so bad from squeezing that little, it looks like a nose sucker for a baby. So any of you gamer nerds out there with kids, you'll know what those little nose suckers are. So, but with this, I can do the entire board and pull the pin or pull the chip literally in a minute or less. Right now I'm going a little slow, just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm actually doing. But and I can't really see with the angle of my light, but I think I got them all. There might be one or two on the other side that are not fully loose, but you just pop it right off, and there you go. Chip is off of there. It's done. So now what I need to do is make sure that my EEPROM is lined up and in the right position. So so now I've got it. It's laid out and it's right back into position. So this is the exact position that it needs to be in. And laying that inside of that other board, just line this right up so it goes straight in. So with this, basically the same thing, just so that I can make it go a lot faster, a lot smoother. I'm going to take my flux and I'm just going to brush it across the pins. It's going to get on the board, it's going to get on the pins itself, and it's going to just help to make that solder just stick where it's supposed to and not glob and you know, cause shorts across other pins. What the flux's intention is to keep a clean and I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to get it out of the way. But to keep a clean solder transition. So I'll show you here if you can see it. So what I'll do is I'll just take, and usually I use a vise when I do this so that I can keep it stationary. Since I don't have three hands, I just use the vise. But so here we go with that. And as you can see, it's the flux, the smoke is actually the flux. I'm not burning the board, it's just the flux burning. And so the hold on, let me mute this TV here. Sorry about that. But what you're seeing is the flux is actually just getting hot and vaporizing as soon as I touch it. My solder pencil right now is about 790 degrees, which is probably a little high, but I'm not keeping it on the board any longer than a few seconds just to get these points connected, and it's not going to hurt anything. Now if I were using it on a actual board, a smaller board, I would probably turn the temperature down a little bit, just because I don't want it to damage any of the small traces on a smaller board. But these traces are pretty thick and they can handle it. So don't mind my shaking. That's actually just trying not to, without my vise here, it's hard to not keep it steady and slip around on me. So there we go. That's pretty much it. So that's basically the assembly of the board, the microprocessor. This is all of the EEPROM. All the data for the game is on this EEPROM, and then these pins in this the D411A chip is basically the security chip, or CIC. that's when you plug it into the Nintendo, it reads that and it recognizes it as an actual game. If that wasn't on there, then you would get an error and the game would not play because the system doesn't recognize it as an actual game. So that's what that chip does. Other than that, there are a couple of resistors and a capacitor on the board, and then the rest of it is all from this EEPROM. And I'm going to pull a little bit of air over this just to keep it clean. But so this is what it looks like. I try to keep it all clean and stuff, so it's not ugly inside of the board. And then I'll clean this side up. This one's a little bit different because it has all of the pins coming out of the back end. So what I'll do with this one is I'll run alcohol over it a couple of times just to soften up the flux, and then I'll spray air over it. Make sure all of my connections are good, make sure I didn't miss anything, and make sure that there are no leads touching each other. And then I'll clean up the board with my rag and alcohol to clean the pins up on the connectors that go into the game, which are right here. So I'll do that, and then I'm probably going to have to cut these pins back. So since I'm right here, I'll probably just use my side cutters, and I'll just snip them all off, and they break off pretty easily. They don't need to be that long. Those are actually probably too long for the board. And then what I'll do is, while it's still recording now, I'm just going to go ahead and stop recording, actually, so I can save room, and I'll get back on recording here in a minute.